Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, for some reason, sometimes this takes an extra couple of seconds to start. Welcome, ladies and welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of This Is Our Life. Okay, let's see how I can get through this. A friend of ours on Facebook, well, a friend of mine, I don't know if he's on my wife's friends list or not. I don't want to say his name on YouTube. He's wanting to move here. He and his wife, I believe, if I'm correct, are wanting to move here. And I don't know where he lives, but he's having a hard time finding work. He's either overqualified, underqualified, or doesn't have the experience that they want. Sorry, man, I feel for you. But he's wanting to move here. I think his wife posted, but how are they going to do it if they don't have any money? Well, I'm gonna tell you about how things worked out for us. Now, some of the people may not appreciate this, but the truth is the truth. So if you're offended by the truth, then
my income tax fund is what got us here.
Yeah, well, and then once we got here, yeah, once we got here, we were renting a room from a fellow activist. Well, actually, from his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And he went batty. And we, none of the other activists in our area were willing to help us out. You can crash on my couch for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, or I know a place you can rent from or whatever. Nothing. So we wound up staying in a homeless shelter.
We didn't want to have it that way, but
no, I mean we waited as long as we could, and then
we endured him.
Yeah, and then it got to the point we just couldn't do this anymore. He was scary. I mean, he turns out to have pulled a gun on his girlfriend, beaten her, punched her, kicked her, choked her. Yet then there are activists in Keene who say, "Oh, but you're scary, you're dangerous." Really,
what the hell is he?
Yeah, I mean, but he's okay with you guys.
Because he's an activist.
Something's wrong here, people, because he is violent. We're not. And we were activists to some degree for a while, but after all that, it's like, why do we want to be around these people? So we were in a homeless shelter, and first we were in one, and then something happened, and they were going to bring this family in that had like 20 kids, and
yeah, they moved us.
Yeah, so they moved us. They were going to move this other family up to Claremont, but that guy said, "I ain't moving my kids up to Claremont, nothing but a bunch of drug addicts and murderers up there." So he went and lived in a tent in his ex-wife's backyard with his kids. And we went over to the women's shelter. We went from the family shelter to the women's shelter. They have 3 shelters run by the city of Keene. And we stayed in there. And I don't know how long we were in the shelters.
We went in May. We finally got out in late September because we moved in here in October.
Okay.
May, June, July, August, September, about 5 months.
So about 5 months we were in 2 different shelters. And yes, Lucky was with us. We got a letter saying, he's a therapy dog, and so he got to be in the shelter with us. And then we got this place. And no, none of the activists helped us find this place. And now we're looking for a bigger place. We got this place because we wanted out of the you-know-what shelter. Not that the shelters weren't actually bad. I was scared.
No.
I was expecting it to be like a shelter back in...
People, and they were pretty trashy.
Yeah, back in Texas, but it's not like that. It's kind of like a boarding house. And so And we got this place, and now we're looking to move from here because we need more space. Desperately need more space. But I happen to like the town. My wife prefers to be closer to Keene. But
Well,
I know but we're actually looking, and it's not that we're not looking for another place. It's just you can only look so much at a time, and we don't want to live with the college kids. Gosh, do we not want to live around with college kids? Keene is a college town, by the way. So um, I don't know what part of New Cary, formerly known as New Hampshire, you want to move to, but I think, I'm not saying there are not good activists in the Keene area. There are definitely some good activists. The thing is, you have to kind of, it may take some time to figure out who's who. A lot of the good activists leave the Keene area. Um, a lot of the people that were here are no longer in this area. You find a lot of good people over in the Manchester area, but that's a city. I hate cities. I detest cities. Keene is, to me, too big, but it's not really that big. It's a town. It's not a city. But my gosh, the city fathers and the cops of Keene, they sure act like it's a big city. But I mean, if you want to do the homeless route, you can come up here and do it that way. Maybe you can find somebody to crash with. There's Pork Manor. I think there may be several places like Pork Manor now. I don't know. I mean, I say the more the merrier up here. You're a substitute teacher for a special ed, substitute teacher, or a special ed teacher, or aide, or what? I don't remember now. But I don't know about special ed up here. I mean, I have a feeling our town is so small that we have one elementary school. That's it. That's all the schools, and they're trying to pull out of the school district.
well, I know like the vans, the minivans that drive around, they I think drive a special ed kid around. I don't think it's. I think it's just one child in it, or maybe.
Now, see, I remember to get to another
You see minivans driving around here with a school bus sign on top of them.
onto the special education topic. My first school was Machinato Elementary School on Okinawa. I went from kindergarten, first, and second, and then we moved to the United States. Well, there was no such thing as special education when we moved to the United States. So I went from school to school to school to school. I went to every elementary school that school district had at one point in outside of Houston. Now they have a ton of elementary schools, and they have like 3 or 4 high schools. I remember when we had one high school, and then they added on, they doubled the size of it, the physical size of it. We had one middle school, and then they opened Kilo, which was the middle school I went to, and we had 2 middle schools. But anyway, so what the school district wound up having to do was send me to a private school. The school district had to pay for it because special ed kids were required to receive a special education. And the other schools, the regular schools, they didn't know what to do with me. So then Mrs. Hunt, bless her soul, bless her heart, she was a brand new principal. This is a brand new school. And she's in the meeting with the new principals, and they're like, well, we have this bunch of kids over here. Anybody want them? I mean, the way she explained it to me, it was like that. Like, I just wanted to get rid of us, like, come on now. And she said, yeah, I'll take them. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if she knew what she was getting herself into. But, so it was a brand new school. It was Mahaney Elementary School. The lady that the school's named after passed away just in the last few years. And so I went to Mahaney. That was the only school that had special ed back then, and that was the 70s. Then I went to middle school and high school, and to college and trade school. Well, I went to trade school, then I went to college. But anyway, so if you want to come up here, you can come up here the homeless route. Although I wouldn't recommend it, especially not this time of year, Because the way the homeless shelters work is you stay in there at night and in the evening, but they expect you to leave during the day to go look for work. So what you wind up having to do, because there's not a whole lot of jobs up here, is you go over to 100 Nights and you hang out there during the day. So, and there are actually some good, decent people over at 100 Nights. And 100 Nights is opened at night when the temperature reaches 0. Okay, otherwise it's just a daytime shelter. But anyway, there you go.